So welcome. This video is going to be a brief review over solving equations. It shouldn't be very long. I'm just going to remind you of the different methods and strategies in which you can solve for an equation. All right, so when you are solving for an equation, remember that by definition, solve means you are finding the value of the variable. So you're looking for whatever x equals or y equals. Okay, so what you're going to do is you need to isolate the variable on one side of the equation and then reduce any coefficients to 1. So you can only have x equals, x has to be all by itself over here. There can't be anything in front of it. There can't even be a negative sign. If there's a negative sign, you have to divide away the negative. All right? I'm going to go over these 3 problems with you. If you have any other questions, let me know in class. So here we go for this first one. Remember, we're trying to get c by itself. So I'm going to look at this side of the equation, and I have this negative 22. Now remember, when you're solving equations, the minus sign is also a negative sign. So I have a minus 22 right here. So I'm going to add 22 to both sides, which leaves me with c on this side and a 76 on this side. I can't simplify any further. There is no negative sign next to c, so then this is my answer. Moving on to the second one, we have fractions. Don't let them freak you out. We've been doing fractions. You're fine with fractions. So we have a 2 over 3 times q. Okay. In order to separate the fraction from the q, we have to do the opposite of what's being currently done. So here we have 2 over 3 times q. So now we need to divide 2 over 3 from both sides. Now I have q on this side and 1 over 2 divided by 2 over 3. Okay, so we succeeded. Q is by itself, but now we need to simplify this bit. Don't forget that when you're dividing by fractions, it's keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep the 1/2, change my symbol, so division to multiplication, and flip. Multiply across, and I have q is equal to 3 over 4. All right, this last one that we're going to go over is what to do when the variable is in the numerator of your fraction. Now remember, fractions are also division bars. Okay, we kind of briefly went over that when we talked about translating things. So k over 18 is the same thing as k divided by 18. So in order to get 18 away from k, we have to do the opposite of what's being done. So if we have k divided by 18, then we need to multiply both sides of the equation by 18. This is going to cancel it out, and we have 18 times 4 on this side is equal to k. When we simplify this side of the equation, we have 72 is equal to k, and now we're done. These are the basic kind of one-step examples on how to solve equations. The only other example you could have is if you have a negative variable. So let's say we have negative x plus 2 is equal to 5. All right, so in order to solve this, you would subtract the 2. So you need to get x by itself. So we're going to subtract 2 from this side of the equation and from that side. Then we have negative x is equal to 3. But we have a negative x. I don't want negative x. I need a positive x. So what we're going to do is divide both sides of the equation by a negative 1. And then that will give us x is equal to a negative 3. As we're looking back over our work, something I want you to notice is that the equal sign, for the most part, are lined up pretty nicely. All right, they may get a little sideways. but you always want your equations to be stacked, one on top of the other. It helps you to see what you're doing. It helps you recognize what the next step is. So always kind of try to line up your equal signs and keep your equations nice and neatly stacked. You can actually use the lines on your paper if you're writing on paper to help you keep things organized and straight. If you're on Notability or some other electronics, I'm not for sure what you can do. Just make sure that you have things stacked up. Okay, that's it for this video. I'll see you in class.